What's up, guys? It's Kamikaze Fox here, coming to you from the SRL League, F1 2017, on the PS4 platform, round 13 in Mexico. So far, we've got 14 drivers signing up so far, waiting on a few others to chime in. Lots to catch up on. If you were with us last week, we were in Canada for a fairly exciting race where Killian Brady took his 5th pole position of the year. But Bart Cataldo ultimately came out on top, picking up his 4th win and closing the championship points gap to Killian Brady down to 39 points. So 39-point gap between Brady and Cataldo in the championship points battle. See the drivers that are joining in today. We've got Ethan Croft rocking the Scuderia Toro Rosso. Jofi 200 should be Jor Marusik in the Sahara Force India. Gamer Freak has not been with us for a few weeks now. I do not recall who Gamer Freak is. That might be Pedro Mesquita. I'm not 100% sure. Beastie Kids is Louis Quinlan in the other Sahara Force India. VY Gaming, that's Yannick Verpetten in the Haas. Widowmaker is Jan Holm rocking the Sauber. Praga X30 is going to be Lewis Marshall in the other Mercedes. Caracaum is Bart Cataldo. KB Killer Zone, your championship points leader, Killian Brady. And we have a one-off Jensen Button-esque return from Sam Brandt. Sam retired back in November after round 5 at Australia, and he is going to be playing reserve today for Haas, as Jesper Lempinen was unable to make the race. So hopefully Sam has a little bit better luck in his one-off return than Jensen Button did at Monaco last year. So Brandt, it's not that he hasn't been racing. He's been working very diligently behind the scenes on a SRL GT3 league that will take place sometime this summer after the F1 season is over for SRL. But Brandt has very little experience here in Mexico. He hasn't been driven the F1 car in quite some time, so see what kind of times he can put up. See, Colin Higgins is joining us. Nick Van Gelder, he'll finally making his return after holiday. We'll do a quick 12-minute qualifying session here for round 13. And small disclosure for our viewers that are tuning in, there is a small chance that I may lose power, as the portion of the United States that I am in right now is battling gale force winds from a nor'easter. Had a lot of power outages yesterday in the area. Luckily, I didn't lose any power, but putting that out there, if the broadcast stops abruptly, it's because I lost power. So qualifying is underway. No takers yet. Make sure we didn't miss anybody. Crocodile Bill, that is going to be Cameron Weston Edwards. He should be rounding out the last bit of drivers. So 14 drivers for today's race. Seems fairly average for the SRL League, somewhere between 14 and 15 drivers per race. No takers yet here. And now they all come out like a swarm of bees at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Who is heading out? Looks like we saw Renault head out. Here comes one of the Saubers. Renault was Nick Van Gelder. First one to leave the pits on his outlap. Nick joined mid-season. His first race was at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It was quite exciting to watch there as they raced in the rain. He became a drift master that race. He was the resident Ken Block for the day. So Jan Holm has made it out in his Sauber. Had some good runs this year. Jor Marusik is in the Sahara Force India. He's on the Ultra Sauce. The championship points leader is Killian Brady, of course. He's been atop the charts just about all season. He picked up his 5th pole position last week. He's looking for his 7th win this season. You take a look at the man pursuing him. So we've got a caution in sector 1 and 2 already. The man pursuing him is this gentleman right here, Bart Cotelda, in the Red Bull, going very slow. Cotelda picked up his fourth win last week in Canada, and he'll be looking for his 7th pole position today. We've got Whip That Trick chiming in on the chat. Whip That Trick. Got nothing better to do at work but watch a race. We certainly appreciate him joining in. If there's any GTA people out there, he's a master at Grand Theft Auto free mode. Be sure to look up his videos on YouTube for some hints, tips, and tricks, and just some regular old funny stuff altogether. We're going to pick up Nick Van Gelder. He should be the first car on a fast lap. You see the DRS slot is open. Looks like he might have gone into that corner a little hot. Looks like he's got one car in front of him. That is going to be a car on its out lap. That's one of the Salvers. Here comes Van Gelder through the S's. The S's are very tricky on this track. It's a great place to gain a lot of time, and it's also a good spot to lose a lot of time. You don't get the S's right, you pretty much blow the whole lap. The caution in sector 2, and it looks like Lewis Marshall's running into some issues. Oh yeah, broken left front suspension. Looks like he is done for the day. Gamer Freak has set the first time at a 1:17.348. Colin Higgins with a 1:17.7. Van Gelder, who we were watching, was a 1:18.7. So not a bad time for Higgins. Higgins has not proved to be the fastest guy on track. Yannick Verpetten is headed into the pits, and we're going to pick up your... Oh, Cameron Weston Edwards jumps to the top of the chart. 1:17.2 as we pick up Killian Brady. See what time he can put up. And now Bart Cotelda has gone 1:16.0 in the Red Bull, and I saw another car off there in sector 2. Not sure who that was. So wow, 1:16.0 for Bart Cotelda. That is 1.2 seconds faster than Cameron Weston Edwards. Unbelievable. Continue to watch Brady here. He won pole position last week, but was unable to retain the lead. Cotelda took the lead after, I think, about the first set of corners. Brady said he couldn't find enough speed in the car, and he runs a 1:16.1. So just a tick behind Bart Cotelda. Pick up Sandro Dulius, Scuderia Ferrari. Oh, cut that corner way too tight. Not sure if he's on a time lap or a hot lap. And he's heading in, and he has made it a mission to hit every cone on the way in. We're going to pick up Samuel Brandt, who hasn't been in a car since November at round 5 of Australia, where he retired after the race. Concentrated his efforts onto developing the GT3 season on Gran Turismo Sport. He's making a one-off return for now in the Haas. And so far he's run a 1:19 for 11th quickest. The only people not to set a time so far has been Sandro, Yannick Verpetten, and Lewis Marshall crashed, so he'll be starting at the rear of the field. See Brandt there, he's got one of the Sahara Force Indias behind him. Don't think he's necessarily holding them up, but I get a feeling that the Sahara Force India is probably a little faster than Samuel is at this point. Through the baseball stadium section now. Interesting track down here at Mexico. Running through the old baseball stadium, you see the Sahara Force India dives into the pits, and Samuel is unable to improve upon his time. So 5 minutes left to play. Sandro's back out on an out lap. The other Haas is Yannick Verpetten. He runs very wide coming out of the S's there. Got Nick Van Gelder on an out lap as well. See, Catalda and Brady are both in the pits. And Verpetten almost runs wide there. Back out on the front stretch. He should be starting his hot lap. Got the DRS slot grouping as he runs down this extremely long front straightaway. Four minutes left to play in the session. Waiting to see if Killian Brady is going to come out of the pits and make a last-ditch effort to try and snatch that pole position from Catalda. Those are currently the only two cars to run in the 116. They are a second faster than the third fastest car, which is Louis Quinlan. So unbelievable time set by Bart Catalda and Killian Brady as we continue to watch the Haas here of Yannick Verpetten. Verpetten's had a pretty solid year so far, but he's had a string of DNFs in the last few races. He had two in a row. He'll be looking to try and make up for those losses. See one of the cars pull off there to the side. Not sure who that was. And Killian Brady is on an out lap. He has left the pits. Through the baseball section. And Yannick, his time didn't come up. Interesting. Might have some issues with timing and scoring. We're going to jump back out here and take a look at Killian Brady on his out lap. This is the S's section, runs back out onto the backstretch here. Sounds like he's only half throttle at this point. Bart Catalda is now on an out lap as well. There we go. Brady's going to start. Last ditch effort here. He's got enough time. He could actually put in 2 laps if he needed to. Brady trying the old Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher trick and wait until the last minute to set pole position. Not give anybody else a chance to set a better time. Catalda has gone out after Brady, so we'll see what's going to happen here in the last couple minutes. Got a lot of guys coming out on an out lap. A lot of them are going to try and put in a little bit of a better time. Depending on how slow some of these guys are going around the track, they're not going to have enough time to start a lap. Through the S's, very nice and neat and tidy. Runs a little wide there, down through the backstretch. Make the run down to the baseball stadium. Looks like Sandro has retired from the session. He's at a 1:16.775, good enough for third. Cameron Weston Evers just set a 1:16.9, good enough for fourth. And Brady does not improve his time, so he's still sitting second. We're going to pick up Bart Catalda at this point. Catalda should be on his last hot lap. And looks like Killian Brady has called it a day. And cutting that chicane, looks like Catalda has called it a day. So once Catalda saw Brady was done for the day, why bother? So we've got 4 cars that ran in the 116s. Bart Catalda is going to be your pole sitter for today. That makes it 2 in a row for him and his, I'm sorry, not 2 in a row, but it does pick up his 7th pole position of the year. So Bart Catalda starting pole, Killian Brady second, Sandro with a good time at 1:16.7 third, Cameron Weston Edwards 4th, Louis Quinlan 5th, Gamer Freak is 6th. Colin Higgins had a pretty good time for him, running 7th. Ethan Croft 8th. Jan Holm 9th. Jorma Rusik is 10th. Nick Van Gelder with a very disappointing time. He can do better, I'm sure, in the factory Renault. 11th. And Sam Brandt 12th. Yannick Verpetten 13th after he didn't set a time. And Lewis Marshall crashed out on his outlap. He'll be bringing up the rear in 14th. So we wait for the game to get set. You see the difference there. That's interesting. Catalda set his pole time on the Ultra Softs while Brady did it on the Super Softs. So Brady may have left a little bit in the bag he could pull out earlier on those Ultra Softs. Oh, and we've got rain. Rain, the great equalizer. This race just got far more interesting. Now, Nick Van Gelder put on a show last time out during his debut at Belgium when it rained there. He put on quite the show as far as sliding the car around and drifting it around corners, and he had quite the battle with Sandro at that race. I haven't really seen rain since. So the guys should go out on the reconnaissance lap now. This will be interesting to see as we run through the starting order again. Bart Catalda picking up his 7th pole position of the season. Killian Brady in the McLaren Honda, he is your championship points leader. He's got a 39-point lead over Bart Catalda. And he'll be looking for... Take a look here. He'll be looking to pick up his 7th win of the season. Sandro Dullius, head of the SRL League. He'll be starting 3rd. Cameron Weston Edwards, he's in the Sauber. He's put in a lot of good runs here as of late. He's creeped his way up into 4th at the points. Too far behind to make any type of impact, but he's been finishing on the pole pretty regularly here lately. Louis Quinlan, late addition this season. He's only been racing for a few weeks, but he's put in some impressive runs, starting 5th. Gamer Freak is out. Take a look here at Nick Van Gelder. I'm sure he'll be one to watch as this race gets going. You see a lot of these guys will definitely be out on the full wets. Colin Higgins had a good run time, 8th. That's pretty good for him. He slides the car coming around that corner. Ethan Crawford in 9th. Jan Holmes in the other Sauber. He'll be starting 10th. Joa Marusik starting 11th. And Sam Brandt making his one-off return. I'm sure he did not want to see rain. A track that he's not been at or raced at. So first time out. Going to have to race in the rain. Yannick Verpetten and Lewis Marshall, the other Mercedes, rounds out your 14 drivers as we take a look at Killian Brady here. Grid's going to get set. Lights out. Time to run what you brung. Catalda gets a good jump off the start line. He pulls out from the rest of the group. We've got a lot of shuffling going on in the back. Long run down the front stretch. Take a look at Kamikaze and Edwards. Catalda's going to try and hold off Brady. Then dive on the inside. Oh, it's a 3-wide battle, 4 wide in a turn 1. A lot of bumping and banging going on here in the back. And look at this, a 4-wide battle down through this short chute here, down to the next set of corners. And we've got a 3-way battle now for the lead. If I can get my thing to work here. There we go. We've got Bart Catalda followed closely behind Killian Brady. They run through the S's. Sandro Dulius was a part of this. He was within a second. That gap's pulled out a little bit now. Rain is the great equalizer, as they say, and Catalda starting to pull a couple of car lengths out on Brady now. And we've got a caution in Sector 3. It looks like that's the Mercedes that's going around. Not sure what happened to him. Looks like he does have some left front wing damage, so he'll be pulling into the pits. So I can look back up front. Oh, when Brady closes the gap on Catalda there just a little bit, they're both on full wets. It's very dreadful in these conditions. And these guys have already pulled out. These two are already 3.5 seconds ahead of Sandro. And Sandro's now become under threat from Cameron Weston Edwards for the 3rd position. So you get a battle for the lead here, 1st and 2nd. You've got a battle for 3rd and 4th. Colin Higgins has managed to jump up to 5th. Good start for him. Lewis Marshall, who started in the back of the field at 14th, has worked his way up to 6th already. And it looks like Edwards is going to be putting a move on Sandro as they run through the S's here. And look, it's like the battles are 2 by 2. 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th. This is Marshall that's closed into the back of Higgins. And Edwards works his way around Sandro Dulius for the 3rd position. And Killian Brady is all over the back of the gearbox of Barcadelta. I'm trying to keep up with everything, but there's so much going on track right now. And Brady's looking to get a good run out of this corner. Looks like he runs a little bit of a different line. Catalda takes the more defensive line, tries to block the inside. And Brady's going to get a little bit of a slipstream advantage here. There's no DRS in these conditions, but Brady does get a little bit of a draft off of him. Catalda's going to make him go the long way around. Oh, and Brady's going to make the outside work. He gets around him. Nice move. But Catalda's not done with him. Catalda's going to try the crossover move. He's on the right rear. But now Brady's going to make Catalda go around the outside as they head down to this next section of corners. Oh, and Brady tries to push him wide. Bart hangs tough. They bang wheels, and Catalda takes the lead back. And Brady's not done with him. So they start the run into the S's. You get this right, you can get a good run down the backstretch into the hard right-hander at the end of it. Oh, and you see Brady slide the car just a little bit wide, trying to get on the power a little early. Couldn't make it stick. He didn't lose a whole lot of time. Oh, and Brady runs wide again. You can see the time difference between the rain and the dry. These guys are running 1/16s. We're going to caution in Sector 2. Looks like it might have been Nick Van Gelder has gone around. We'll pick up the battle for the lead again. These guys are running 1/16s in the dry during qualifying. They've managed to run 1:35s in the wet so far. And we've got a caution in Sector 3 again. And this is Nick Van Gelder. Looks like he's having some issues with the car as he's going around again. Not a good start for him. We're only on lap 4, and he is lost the back end of it one more time. Cuts back across. Thank God for ghost cars, huh? So Van Gelder has dropped all the way to the back of the pack. Take a look back up front. Killian Brady. And it looks like Sandro has managed to work his way back around Cameron Weston Edwards to take third position back. This battle is 7 seconds behind the lead battle. Oh, and Sandro runs wide. He gave up through the S's, and he's about to give up another position to Lewis Marshall. So that was an easy pass for Cameron Weston Edwards as Sandro ran wide going into the S's. And now Lewis Marshall is working all over the back of Sandro. Oh, and it looks like Colin Higgins has gone off. Oh, no, that was another car. Got a 3-way battle here for third place. We pick up the battle for the lead again. Not much has changed. The gap remains about 7/10 of a second. Brady was able to get around Catalda a lap ago. Catalda took it back. Brady's been trying to find a way back around again. These guys just can't put the power down. It looks like Jan Holm just lost the position to Jur Marusik. That was the battle for 9th. Oh, and Catalda slides wide just a little bit. And Brady's going to get a good run down the backstretch now. Catalda knows he went wide. Takes a more defensive line. He's going to take the inside away from him. Brady's going to try the crossover move. Can't make it work. He's going to try it again. Oh, and they take out the cone. Brady stuffs the car in there. He's going to push him up against the wall. Catalda just touches the wall with the right side, and Catalda's going to jump into the pits and give up the lead to Killian Brady. So we're going to jump back for the battle for third. As Catalda headed in the pits, possibly thinking about switching over to the inters. And a caution in Sector 2. Ethan Croft is jumping to the pits. Some of these guys starting to make some early pit stops. Let's take a look at it. We've got another caution in Sector 2. I'm going to pick up Bart Catalda here real quick. And yes, he has gone in and switched out to the intermediates. Very dangerous. I don't know that the track is in the best conditions for that just yet. As you take a look back at the battle, this is now the battle for second place. And these guys are second, third, and fourth, and Sandro gives up another position running wide through a corner. So now Lewis Marshall is going to try and close the gap down to Cameron Weston Edwards. So Edwards has managed to pull away from Marshall and Dulius for the second. Oh, and Marshall runs wide coming out of the S's and gives the position back up to Dulius. Run down at the end of the stretch. Oh, and they bang wheels just a little bit. You see these guys coming up. This is that is the factory Renault of Nick Van Gelder. That is not for position. Van Gelder has had a tumultuous race so far, and it's only lap 7. He is a lap car at this point. And you see it looks like Edwards is heading into the pits now. Some of these guys are going to try and make this crossover. Marshall heads into the pit. So Sandro picks up the lead after everybody else decided to pit. We're going to see what kind of times see, Quinlan's already made 3 stops. A lot of these guys are changing out to intermediates. Looks like somebody shot off in the back there. That's a caution in Sector 2. So we've got Sandro's lap time counter up at the top right corner there. We're going to see what kind of time he can set versus the intermediates, because Sandro is still out on the full wets. A lot of yellows in Sector 2. It's probably a lot of on-offs, just like Sandro did just there. Another on-off real quick. Sandro looks like he is pushing his car, and it looks like Louis Quinlan is starting to creep into the picture here. Quinlan is also on the full wet, so these two have stayed out. They're going to try and see if they can separate themselves from the rest of the field, but it looks like Sandro, he's going to dive into the pits. See if, yep, Quinlan follows him, so that's going to hand the lead back over to Bart Catalda. Bart Catalda was the first one to jump out of the race, get into the pits, and switch over to the intermediates. Take a look back now. This is Cameron Weston Edwards. This is currently the second place car. And it looks like Killian Brady may have had a problem, as he has had to head back into the pits for a second time. He is all the way back in 6th position now. So he is well off the pace at this point. It looks like a couple other guys, Jan Holm and Jur Marusik, are into the pits as well, swapping out. Nick Van Gelder is swapping his tires as well. So a lot of action here in the opening laps of this very interesting race here in Mexico. Now it looks like we've got a little bit of a grid reset. We'll take you through the running order. This is Bart Catalda. He is second in the championship point standings and has a 13-second lead over Cameron Weston Edwards in the Sauber. 3.5 seconds behind him, you're going to pick up Sandro again in the Scuderia Ferrari, but right behind him is Lewis Marshall in the Mercedes. Marshall has closed the gap to him, and then right behind that is Louis Quinlan. You see Bart Catalda has now set the fastest lap in the intermediates at a 1:35.94. That's 5 seconds faster than the previous fastest lap. As we watch this battle here for third. Continue to run through the order. This is third and fourth here. This is Sandro and Lewis Marshall. Right behind them, you see there coming into the picture, that's Louis Quinlan. You go 10 seconds back, you're going to pick up your championship points leader, Killian Brady. Colin Higgins running 7th, Ethan Croft 8th, Jur Marusik is 9th. Got a caution in Sector 2 as Marshall tries to put a move on Julius. Jan Holm is 10th. That is rounding out your top 10 points paying positions as we continue to watch this battle for third. Sandro is trying to hold on to this position, but Marshall's going to dive to the inside. Oh, it looks like they just brushed wheels a little bit. Oh, and they both slide the back end out coming out of that corner. Sandro's got the better line. Marshall's going to try the crossover move. Can't get the power down quick enough, though. Oh, and he swaps back. He's going to take the inside line heading into the S's. Oh, and they both push wide just a little bit. And I can tell you right now, Louis Quinlan is loving this, because as these two are fighting it out, Quinlan has now managed to close the gap down to both of them. You see he just creeps into the picture there. He is right behind Lewis Marshall at this point. So Sandro is able to hold off Marshall through the S's. Marshall's giving up time to Quinlan. And all the while this is going on, Killian Brady has managed to close the gap down to this battle by a second. So it was 10 seconds, it's now 8.9. Quinlan is not getting a good run out of that corner. Marshall got a much better run coming out of that last corner. Closed the gap down to Sandro a little bit. And now Killian Brady has set the fastest lap at a 1:29.969. He's the first guy to crack the 1:30 barrier in these conditions, so he's a man on a mission. So we continue to watch this battle for third place. still raining, and the rain hasn't let up, but the dry line has started to form, which is why they swapped over from full wets to intermediates. Starting to get a little bit of a racing line. See, the guys are coming up on Nick Van Gelder here again. He's already one lap down. And I'm sure this is not the outing Van Gelder wanted to have. He had such a good race back in the wet at Belgium. Was really expecting a lot more from him today. Looks like Sandro has managed to pull out a little bit here on Lewis Marshall. And Van Gelder kindly gets out of the way. You see the back end kick out on his car. And did you see that just in the background here is creeping into the baseball section is Killian Brady. He is on the move. He has closed the gap down to Quinlan. He's closed the gap down to Quinlan within 6 seconds. And he runs another fastest lap at a 1:29.606. But Brady's the only guy running in the 1:29 so far. See up there at the head of the front stretch, those cars are just starting to take into turn 1. And it looks like Brady has gone ghost. Not sure if there's a glitch there. If Brady's gone ghost, that usually means he's lost connection. Going to monitor his time. And yes, Killian Brady is now losing time. He's gone ghost. So not good news for Killian Brady. He was within 6 seconds, and now he's dropped back to 10. His car's gone ghost. He looks like he has lost connection as Van Gelder goes around. And he has spun his car more than once today. And Van Gelder tries to get going again. So bad news for Brady. We'll continue to monitor that situation. Pick up your leader here, Bart Catelda, and there's another caution in Sector 2. And now we've got cautions in Sector 2 and 3. Caution in Sector 3. Sector 2. We've got Jur Marusik now. This is VY Gaming and Gamer Freak, so this is a battle for position. This is actually the closest battle on track now. This is 9th, 10th, and 11th place. Oh, and you see Gamer Freak there. He's going to dive to the inside. Push for Penton wide, can't make it stick. I believe Gamer Freak, I believe that is, I want to say Pedro Mesquita, but I don't believe that is right. Gamer Freak is still out on the full wets. A lot of these other guys have switched over to the intermediates. And championship points leader Killian Brady is about to lose another position as his car has gone ghost. It is stuck in AI, and Colin Higgins will take over the 6th place position. So bad news for Brady. This is great news for Barcatelda. He's definitely going to be able to close the championship points gap if he can finish this race in first place. Battle for 9th here as we continue to watch Gamer Freak and the Mercedes try to take over the Haas F1 of Yannick Verpetten. Oh, and the Mercedes gets a good run coming out of that corner. Gamer Freak's going to easily make this pass. Verpetten's going to tuck in behind him, try and pick up a little bit of the stream. Can he make a last-ditch dive bomb effort to try and get the position back? Not even close. Good move by Gamer Freak to take over the 9th position. So we'll do a little bit of a grid reset here for you. Barcatelda is your leader as he heads down the front stretch. He is 18 seconds out in front of Cameron Weston Edwards, who is your 2nd place car. Sandro has fought hard for this 3rd place, but he has been battling with Lewis Marshall all day, and Marshall has now closed the gap back up to him within a second. So Lewis Marshall and Sandro have swapped positions a number of times throughout this race, and it doesn't look like these two are done yet. And Killian Brady has just lost another position. If we continue to monitor that situation, Brady is now down to 8th. Bad news for him. So this is the battle for 3rd between Sandro Julius and Lewis Marshall. You go 5 seconds behind this, you're going to pick up Louis Quinlan. It's Sahara Force India. Colin Higgins is having a good outing today. I hate to say it, but it's a rarity for him. He's got a couple of DNFs this year. His debut was in round 5 at Australia, where he ended up on his side. Ethan Croft, he's in the other Scuderia Toro Rosso. Killian Brady, we know what's happened with him. He's somewhere along the line lost connection. He's now fallen back to 8th. And Gamer Freak has now picked up 9th. Yannick Repent closely behind him. Jor Marusik has fallen back to 11th. Jan Holmes has been quiet today. He's 12th. Sam Brandt in his one-off return to SRL is currently running 13th, and Nick Van Gelder has had just a dreadful outing, and looks like he's probably called it a day as his car has gone ghost as well. He's 2 laps down. Just couldn't get the car to work today for him. We're going to jump back up to the battle for 3rd. And Bart Catelda continues to pull the gap out on Cameron Weston Edwards. As we watch this battle here for 3rd, Lewis Marshall kicks the back end out just a little bit there. Looks like they're catching up to one of the Salvers. That is going to be Jan Holm. That is going to be a lap car. Oh, you see them slide to the quarter just a little bit there. Oh, and Marshall kicks the back end out just a little bit coming out of that corner. Sandra ran wide. Marshall tried to take a tight inside line, but the back end kicked out of him a little bit, just cost him a little bit of time. Down through the baseball stadium section now. These guys are running really close times to each other. Marshall's going to try and get a good run, get a nice run down the front stretch here if he can. He's going to pick up a little bit of a slipstream off of Sandro's car. Don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. Oh, he thought about it there for a second. He does close the gap up to him, though. He's only within a car length now. Oh, we got a caution in Sector 3. Oh, Jan Holm. Oh, and he's off. Looks like he run wide. Took out the left front suspension. He's done for the day. And there goes Bart Catelda, your leader. So Lewis Marshall still trying to work over on Sandro and get that 3rd position as they run through the S's here. Oh, and Sandro cut that corner a little tight. I haven't seen any warnings yet today for corner cutting, but when you're only within a few tenths of somebody, you really don't want want to give up 3-second time penalty and lose that position at the end of the race. You're fighting so hard to keep. So surprisingly, here in these wet conditions, Jan Holm is the one and only DNF we've had so far. We've got another caution in Sector 2, as we are now about halfway through this race, working lap 17 of 36. And Marshall now trying to get a good run. He gets a good run coming out of the corner. He's going to be on the inside. This is going to be a quick left-right exchange, so Marshall's going to be on the inside, then Sandro will be on the inside. They're going to bang wheels just a little bit. Sandro pushes him wide. Marshall's going to try for the crossover move. Gets a good run coming out of the corner. He's going to be on the inside of Sandro. Sandro's not going to be able to hold him off. And now Sandro runs wide as the back end kicks out, and Lewis Marshall picks up third place. And Killian Brady is currently still ghost, as he is now dropped out of the points into the 12th position. So this has got some big championship implications. And it looks like Sandro was able to work his way back around Lewis Marshall again. So these guys are going blow for blow here. As it continues to rain here in Mexico. Oh no, and Lewis Marshall has left the session. The battle for third is no more, as Lewis Marshall has gone ghost, possibly loss of internet connection. Looks like he's fallen to a similar fate as Killian Brady. These guys are fighting at the front of the field and have both lost their connections. And we've got Nick Van Gelder. Looks like he's regained possession of his car. He just picked up a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And he's a lap down. If anything, Van Gelder will probably be out working on his drift skills at this point. And Lewis Marshall just lost another position to Louis Quinlan. So an unbelievable turn of events here. Do a grid rundown for you. Bart Cattell is still your leader and has been for about 95% of this race. Cameron Weston Edwards, he is running lonesome in second, 22 seconds behind Bart Cattell, but another good, strong outing for him. Sandro, who had that long, hard-fought battle for third back and forth with Lewis Marshall most of the day, managed to retain the position. The question is now, Louis Quinlan is heading into the pits. Lewis Marshall is into the pits. Lewis Marshall, though, he was the one that was fighting with Sandro for third. Looks like he's lost his connection. He's going AI. Colin Higgins with a nice solid outing today, picking up 6th place so far. Ethan Croft and the other Scuderia Toro Rosso, he's looking to have another good solid finish. Gamer Freak has managed to close the gap down to him. So we do have a little bit of a battle here for the 7th position. That's a nice tight line by Gamer Freak coming out of that last corner. He gets a good run down this straightaway. Croft is not going to have anything for him. Look at the speed differential on that. Freak took such a good line coming out of that last corner. There was nothing Croft was going to be able to do about that one. And Gamer Freak is still out on wet tires. And looks like Nick Van Gelder has gone off and crashed his car. So left front suspension broke on that, and he is done for the day. So we'll pick back up in Gamer Freak and Ethan Croft. So through the midst of all this, Sam Brandt has been able to work his way back into the points. But it looks like Killian Brady has regained control of his car, and he is back under power. So Brady, who had gone ghost for a number of laps, he is now back in action. So that is Brady. He's taken over the 9th place position, so it'll be interesting to see how many positions he can regain in the next 16 laps. And he is a man on the move. Look at him slide around that corner there through the S's. He's going to be pushing it now, folks. Brady's next victim would be Ethan Croft, who's in 8th place, 24 seconds ahead of Killian Brady. Oh, and the conditions are starting to improve, and DRS has now been enabled. Even though these guys are still out on inter, so it looks like the rain is starting to let up, the dry line's starting to form. So now the SRL is going to be enabled. You have to be within a second of the car in front of you. Cameron Weston Edwards just dives into the pit. I'm going to take a look here and see if the switchover is going to happen for slick tires. And yeah, Cameron Weston Edwards is switching over to dry tires. As you see, the rain is still falling, but starting to let up. And yes, you have Cameron Weston Edwards, Sandro Dulius, and Sam Brandt all out on dry tires on the softs. Yannick Verpenten is the only one out on a super soft, and the rest of the field remains on intermediates. And Cameron Weston Edwards retains the 2nd place position. He's 43 seconds behind Bart Catalda. And Catalda will probably head into the pits this time in. The pit stop delta here is about 25 seconds, so there's plenty of room for Catalda to go in, swap his tires, head back out, and not lose a position. But Catalda stays out on the intermediates. Interesting. See, a lot of the other guys are starting to go into the pits. And all the while this is happening, Killian Brady's going to dive into the pits as well. He's going to make the swap over to dry tires. It's a very interesting race so far. So continue to monitor the lap times there from Killian Brady as he swapped over before Bart Catalda here. You see the car behind him. That is not a battle for position. That is Gamer Freak, and Catalda would be wise to let him go by. So it looks like the rain is pretty much completely let up at this point. Dry line has formed. Need to make sure you stay on that dry line with these slick tires. Some of these guys might be called out trying to make a pass in the wet part of the track. Big slide there by Catalda. And he is starting to lose a lot of traction. And he's got a 5-second stop-and-go penalty now for exceeding the track limits. So Catalda is losing chunks of time at this point now. Looks like his intermediates have completely given up on the back end of this dry line here. So he's going to head into the pits. He's going to do a tire swap. And Yannick Verpenten sets the fastest lap with a 1:26.974. The times are starting to drop. So here's Catalda serving his 5-second stop-and-go penalty. They're going to make the swap over. Looks like he's going to be getting on the super softs. Sam Brandt sets the fastest lap now, 1:26.3. Here comes Cameron Weston Edwards. And he is now within... Oh, it's the battle for the lead. Here he comes. He's going to overtake it. The 5-second penalty just cost Bart Catalda the lead of this race. Now Bart's on the super softs. Edwards on the soft. We'll see how long Cameron Weston Edwards can hold him off. You see there's still a little bit of spray coming off of the back of these cars. And the battle for the lead is on. But it's not who you would think it would be. It's Cameron West and Edwards trying to hold off Barcatelda. Killian Brady, in the meantime, has just taken over the 9th position. So the championship points battle is heating up. And so is the battle on track. You see Edwards is trying very hard. He's taking very defensive lines. He's going to push wide a little bit here. Catelda's going to be able to pick up the slipstream a little bit. Oh, and Catelda almost ran into the back of Edwards. See, Brady just set a new fastest lap. Oh, and Catelda goes around the outside coming out of the last corner. And he's able to open his DRS slot because he was behind Edwards at the time he had scored for DRS, so that's going to open up the gap to him. So Catelda takes the lead back. Edwards not able to hold him off or get into DRS range. And Catelda is off to the races. He'll be looking to extend that gap now. So we'll take a look back here at Gamer Freak. And you see the times are starting to drop, and now you're really going to find out who's the fastest of the fast. See, Colin Higgins was having a good solid run at 6th all day. He's managed to work his way up to 5th. Here comes Gamer Freak in the Mercedes. See if he can put a move on him here at the end of the front stretch. Not close enough. He's all over the back of the gearbox, and Killian Brady sets a new fastest lap, 1:19.3. So they're starting to run down 3 more seconds, and they'll be within qualifying times. You see if Gamer Freak here gets a good run coming out of the corners. Higgins is going to make him work the outside. And that's going to put Freak on the inside of the next corner. Freak's going to push Higgins wide. Higgins tries to go around the outside. He's hanging tough. Oh, but he can't make it stick. Gamer Freak's going to take the position. That was for 5th. Freak pulls out a little bit here through the S's. Oh, Higgins runs wide. He's getting a little bit of aero wash, I'm sure, off the back end of Gamer Freak's car. He's hanging tough, though. He's still within half a second. If he can maintain that half second here through the baseball stadium, he'll be within DRS range. Oh, but it looks like he may have brushed the wall coming out of there. So he's got the DRS slot open. He's not close enough to make a move, though. Lost a couple of tenths on that last corner. And Killian Brady has just taken over the 8th position, and he's gone 1:18.8 as he sets another fastest lap. And Brady now, he just got by Yannick Verpetten, but Yannick's not done with him. He's going to try and hang tough, but these two are starting to close the gap down into Ethan Croft there and Scuderia Toro Rosso. Killian Brady, he was running 2nd, battled for the lead in the early part of this race. Lost his internet connection halfway through. Car went ghost, went AI for a few laps, dropped all the way through the back of the field down to 11th. He regains his internet connection, gets back going, and now he's starting to try and make a run towards the front here with 10 laps to go. He sets his sights on his next target, Ethan Croft. He takes the run on the inside, and he's easily going to take that position as he runs another fastest lap at a 1:17.8. So Brady is off to the races. He's now running 7th. His next target is going to be Colin Higgins for 6th. Brady's about 10 seconds behind that. Your closest battle on track is Gamer Freak. He is running 5th, and he is starting to close the gap now to Louis Quinlan. And we take a look back at Lewis Marshall, the other Mercedes. He is still ghost. He has not been able to retain his internet connection. So it looks like Higgins now starting to close the gap into Gamer Freak, maybe trying to take that position back. Higgins trying to hang tough here with this. Just outside of DRS range. He's not going to be able to get that slot open and close that gap a little bit. Oh, yes, he is. It looks like the slot did come over. He just clicked it. Brady now is within 8 seconds of Colin Higgins. That's actually where we're sitting at here. So we watch Higgins and Gamer Freak battle for this position. Higgins runs very wide coming out of that corner. If Brady catches these two in the next few laps, that'll move Brady up to 5th, and the damage to his championship points lead won't be as great. He's really in damage control at this point. He had a 39-point lead coming into the race. He's got a caution in Sector 2. He had a 39-point lead coming into this race. A win will give you 25 points, and there was a point in time where it was going to be Catalda scored the 25 points for the win. Brady getting nothing, but now Brady's in damage control trying to pick up as much time as he can. And he's now closing the gap down to this battle to 5 seconds. There you see him in the background. You see those two are just leaving turn 1, and he is just now entering turn 1. So Brady is closing in. We're going to pick up Yannick Verpetten here real quick. He's within a second of Ethan Croft. That is your battle for 8th. We'll switch back to Brady here real quick. He's now under 5 seconds. Through the S's. Brady is flying. Now Cameron Weston Edwards has closed the gap down to Bart Catalda to within 2 seconds. Wondering now if Catalda is starting to have tire issues. See Catalda there. There goes Cameron Weston Edwards. That gap was at 3.5 seconds, and it's now down to 2. So the tires might be starting to give up on Bart Catalda's car. He's out on the super softs. We'll monitor that as we jump back to Killian Brady. He's now got this gap down to Colin Higgins to 3.5 seconds. Sandro is now within 3 seconds of Cameron Weston Edwards for the second position. Brady runs tight there coming out of that corner, almost went wide. And you see Higgins now. There's Brady, close the gap. It's within 2 seconds, and it's not going to take him very long to shut that gap up. Or close that gap up. Now Higgins is within a 9/10 of a second of Gamer Freak. That hasn't changed a whole lot, but you see Brady creeping into the back of the picture there in that orange McLaren. And Yannick Verpetten has just worked his way around Ethan Croft for the 8th position. Croft's not done with him. Croft's going to get a run down to the inside here. Oh, and they go in deep. Verpetten's able to hold him off a little bit. And we jump back to 7th place again. Killian Brady, he's now closed the gap. He's going to be within a second of Colin Higgins. And Higgins is half a second behind Gamer Freak. So it's going to be a 3-way battle for 5th. It'll be interesting to see if these two try to hold off Brady, knowing how much faster he is than them. Look at the tight line that he takes coming out of that last corner. Gets a good run out on the front stretch. Higgins isn't going to have anything for him. They both got their DRS slots open. Brady's got a much better run going down in the first corner, and he's got the preferred line as he's on the inside. And Higgins has nothing for him. Brady takes over the 6th position, and now he'll set his sights on Gamer Freak for 5th. Five laps to go in this round 13 of the SRL F1 2017 season on the PS4 platform. That's SRL League. That is Sandro Racing League. While there's many SRL leagues, there is only one Sandro Racing League. You can tell it has now started lap 32 of 36. Oh, and here comes Brady. Look at that run. He can cut the corner a little bit, but there's nothing Gamer Freak can do to hold him off. He's going to take over the 5th position. So next on his hit list would be Louis Quinlan. This is going to be the battle for 4th, and Brady is just coming out on the front stretch. Here comes Brady. That is the ghost car of Lewis Marshall. That is going to be a lap car at this point. So a tremendous run by Brady to come back from what was 12th position at one point to work his way back up through the field. He's picked his way up all the way to 5th. He's closing the gap down to 4th at this point. This is where Brady has made up a lot of time. He's made up a lot of time through this baseball stadium section and the last corner heading out on the front stretch. He takes a little bit more of a unique line than most of the other drivers. See, it's a lot tighter than the other guys. It's about a half a car length off of the racing line. He gets a really good run coming out of it down the front stretch. That corner alone, he was able to pick up about 3/10 of a second. It wasn't quite in DRS range. Hard brakes down into the end of the front stretch onto turn 1. And he's there. Brady is there at this point. We'll see how long Quinlan can hold him off. This would be one of Quinlan's best runs of the season so far. He did come in late this season. He's only been with us a few weeks. But a good outing today in the rain. He's on the softs, Brady on the super softs. Through the S's. See if Brady can make a move down here at the end of this backstretch. Not quite enough room. And through the baseball stadium once again, Brady will easily make this pass out on the front stretch. You'll see the different line that I'm talking about here as he comes through this last corner. Right there. and he is done and gone. Brady has worked his way up to the 4th position at this point. See how hard Quinlan decides to fight him here at the front stretch. Quinlan trying to take it back, but I don't think he's going to have anything for Brady. So next on Brady's hit list would be Sandro Julius in the Scuderia Ferrari, but Julius is 41 seconds ahead of Brady, so it's safe to say Brady's probably going to finish in the 4th place, which is nothing to scoff at considering he lost his connection, fell back in the field, and worked his way back up. If you remember back in Australia, I believe that was round 5, Bart Cadelda had a similar situation where he was leading the race, lost his connection, the car dropped back to 5th position at one point. Cadelda regains his internet connection and fought all the way back up to the front, took the win the very last lap, the very last corner of the race. It was an exciting race. That was round 5 in Australia. You see Sandro here has now closed the gap down to Cameron Weston Edwards for 2nd, as Ethan Croft picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Sandro going to try and see if he can take over the 2nd position with only a couple of laps left. And if he can maintain this gap, he'll actually be within DRS range coming out onto the front stretch here. And that'll definitely give him a little bit of a speed advantage at the end of the front stretch to try and make that move on Cameron Weston Edwards. Cameron Weston Edwards is very aggressive defensively. He is very hard to get around. You see the slot opens. It's going to give Sandro a little bit more top-end speed. Oh, and you see how low Edwards tries to run him down the track. Moves back up, gives him the room. Edwards is going to try and go around the outside and maintain his position. He holds him off for now. Nice move by Edwards. But Sandro is now going to be... He's got the DRS slot open again. Edwards is going to go in deep. Cuts it back in hard. He's going to push him wide. And then both get shoved wide a little bit. And Edwards maintains 2nd for now. Last lap battle for 2nd place. I told you Edwards was going to make his car extremely wide. Sandro's going to want that 2nd place bad. He's had a couple of bad outings this year. 2nd spot on the podium would definitely make up for some of them. He gets a semi-good run down here at the end of the stretch. Oh, and Edwards shuts the door on him again. Down through the baseball stadium section. See if Sandro has a last-ditch effort on this last lap, if he can make something work. Oh, the car pushes wide. He just brushes the wall. Tries to get a run coming out of the last corner. And Edwards is going to take 2nd. 95 thousandths of a second. I'm sorry, 95 thousandths of a second. Faster than Sandro. Killian Brady is going to be picking up the 4th position. So your top 3 is Bart Cadelda. A much-needed win to try and close that championship points gap. He picks up his 5th win of the year. Cameron Weston Edwards was able to hold off Sandro Julius for 2nd position. See Sandro there in 3rd. Killian Brady. That might be investigated at the end of the race. Slides across the start-finish line in 4th. Gamer Freak 5th. Louis Quinlan 6th. Good run for him. Colin Higgins 7th. Yannick Verpetten here. He comes across the line, followed closely by Ethan Croft. That is 7th and 8th position there. And Bart Cadelda atop the podium once again. able to close that championship points gap. Cameron Weston Edwards picking up another podium this year. Sandro Dulius in third. So congratulations to Barcatelli. The championship points gap coming into the race was 39 points. Is now down to somewhere around 25 points. Let's take a look at the rest of the finishing order. Sam Brent in his one-off return, able to pick up a championship point in 10th. Jure Marusik is 11th. Lewis Marshall, not Hamilton, lost connection. He was done for the day. And Nick Van Gelder and Jan Holm running out 13th and 14th. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Quite an interesting race. Started in the wet, ended in the dry. Barcatelli, your winner. Check us out in a couple of weeks when we will be at Malaysia. So until then, this is Kamikaze Fox signing off.